All right, today we are working on comparing unit fractions. So let's go ahead and start today with your fluency practice. If you will pause this and go into Blackboard and take your sprint for 8, please. And we're going to skip count by fourths on our clock. Remember, it is like dividing our clock into fourths and it just splitting it into 4 different sections. So you're going to skip count by fourths. It's going to be 1 o'clock, 1:15, 1:30, 1:45, 2, 2:15, 2:30, 2:45, 3, 3:15, 3:30, 3:45, 4. And you could keep going around the clock. All right, go ahead and grab your whiteboards. We're going to practice some greater or less than wholes. So, looking at 1/2. Is 1/2 greater or less than 1 whole? Go ahead and draw your picture. Hopefully you said it is less. Let's look at 3/2. 3/2. Hopefully you said more or greater. 5/4 is greater. 3/4 is less. 3/7 is less. 5/3 is greater. 5/2 is greater. If you look at this, you will see that anyone that has a number bigger that is on top is going to be greater. Anything that has a number less than the bottom is going to be less than 1 whole. So just remember that. All right, looking at our next thing is our application problem. I want you to pause this right now and go ahead and work out this problem on your whiteboard. The problem says, Sarah makes soup. She divides each batch equally into thirds to give away. Each family that she makes soup for gets 1/3 of the batch. Sarah needs to make enough soup for 5 families. How much soup does Sarah give away? Write your answer in terms with batches. So, again, if you have not solved this, stop this and go ahead and solve your answer. And let's look at our solution. So, here is what you're going to do. You've drawn 2 batches, and you did 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. That's 3 of them, 1/3, 1/3. This person does a great job labeling their fractions so that you can see they have 1/3 left over and they fed all 5 of their families. All right, what you need at this point is going to be your fraction strip bag. You can find that in the blue box on my table. And you will need some note cards that you can draw greater than, less than, and equal to on. So take out your fraction strips that we have. Look at all the different units. Take a minute to arrange the strips in order from the largest to the smallest. Turn and talk to your partner about what you noticed. Turn and talk to someone at your seat because you guys should all be doing this kind of together. Turn and talk to someone about what you notice about your fraction strips. For example, you may notice that the 8s are the smallest, even though the number 8 is the biggest. When the whole is folded into more units, each unit is smaller. So the more units there are, the smaller your piece gets. And you will notice that 1/2 is probably the biggest piece out of all of them. Look at the 2 fractions. I want you to pull them out 1/2 and 1/3. Which unit fraction is the largest? Hopefully you said that 1/2 is the largest fraction unit. Explain how you know this. So you should know this because I can see 1/2 is larger on our fraction strips. When you split it into between 2 people, the pieces are larger than if you split it between 3 people. There are fewer pieces, so the pieces aren't as large. What happens when we aren't using fraction strips? What if we're talking about something round, like a pizza? Is 1/2 still larger than 1/3? Why or why not? Why don't you think this? So, what you should have said as an answer is sharing a pizza among 3 people is not as good as sharing between 2 people. I think pieces that are halves are still larger. I agree because the number of parts doesn't change even if the shape of the whole changes. Let's make a model and see what happens. Draw 5 circles that are on the same size to represent pizzas on your whiteboard. I want you to estimate to partition the first circle into halves. Make sure that you use your unit fraction. Your unit fraction should be 1/2, so make sure you label each side with that. On the second circle, I want you to partition the circle into thirds. And make sure to label your unit fraction, 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. So let's keep going with 1/4. Partition the third circle into fourths and label it. So is 1/3 smaller than 1/2? Of course it is. So partition your circles into fourths, sixths, and eighths. Label the unit fraction in each one. Compare your drawing to your fraction strips. Talk to a partner. Do you notice the same pattern as with your fraction strips? Let's compare unit fractions. For each turn, you and your partner will choose any single fraction strip. Choose now. Now compare unit fractions by folding to show only the fraction unit. So why don't you use your fraction strips that we have there and pull different ones and compare them. I want you to place the appropriate symbol card in between them. So if you have the 1/2 fraction, you're going to want the greater than sign that kind of looks like an alligator facing 1/2 because you know that 1/2 is bigger than 1/3. Continue playing this game. You can play it with yourself, picking different fractions and putting your greater than, less than, or equal to signs in there. Play it for 2 or 3 minutes, and then I want you to pause and work on your problem set, your sheet that goes with lesson 10 for me. Once you finish your sheet for lesson 10, then I want you to come back and we are going to debrief. We're going to answer one problem quickly from that sheet. So go ahead and pause this and work on your lesson 10 sheet and come back to me when you're ready to debrief. So, on your sheet, how did problem 3 help you answer problem 5? Compare problem 3 and 5. How are they different? How are they the same? All right. So this is lesson 10. I will be seeing you tomorrow for lesson 11. If you are done with this and you still have math time, there is a fraction packet that I want you to start working on. You're not supposed to finish it today. Just work as many as you can. Make sure that you're showing your work, please.